Right. We're live. Whoever is here so far. If you are here, do let me know. Do let me know in the chat if you're here. Let me just retweet that, repost, bang, go back to that. Just need to drop the link into the chat. Bang, there we go on that. Right. Gone. Right. I think we're on. We on? Yep. We're on. Right. Let me get Stonksy on. Bang, bang, bang. How are we doing? How are we doing? Great to see you, legends. How are we? How are we? Who we got in the chat? We had James in, Barros. I don't know if you guys are still here. If you are, let me know. Obviously, do make sure you get your likes in. And yeah. Afternoon, Gongsy. How we doing, mate? Great to see you. Barros still here. Yeah, sorry about the delayed start. But I'm here now, of course. So never fear. We are here. Got Chainflow on X. Chainflow, how we doing, mate? Great to see you. If you are new to the stream, do make sure you hop over to the YouTube as well, Chainflow, and drop a sub. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then dropping videos Tuesdays and Thursdays. So yeah, do get involved, mate. Go watch Friday's video if you haven't. It was a banger. But yeah, how are we all? How are we all doing? Great to see you. We've got plenty to run through because Sunday was volatile, weren't it? Sunday was a massively volatile day. As we can see on the chart, Stonksy caught the drop perfectly on the hourly. I do also want to go over what I gave you guys on Friday as well, first and foremost. But yeah, how are we all doing? Let me just get the link to the Discord pinned into the... let me pin that into the chat. Let me pin that. There we go. So Discord's pinned. If you are new, do come join. If you're watching over on X, then you can find the Discord pinned to the actual Stonksy X account tweet. But yeah, obviously before we start looking at the market and start looking at everything else, let me just turn Stonksy off for a second, because on Friday I did map out, didn't we? We mapped out. I don't think my mouse is working. I don't think it's got any charge. No, I'll just have to use a trackpad. That's fine. So on Friday we mapped out these areas, didn't we? So I gave you guys these levels for looking at to the downside and upside, which after the stream, a few hours after the stream, we actually came and swept the first upside level. We didn't actually get towards the second, so that was a no-go, but we did actually come, sweep the first, closed on it and below it, and then we came down over the weekend and actually went for the second. So props to anyone that followed them levels over the weekend and on Friday. They did work out a treat. Now, we did come close to testing the demand zone that we've been waiting for. Obviously, we have been patiently waiting for Bitcoin to come and test towards this demand zone. We actually didn't go fully into it, did we? We didn't get the full kind of 85K test. We got close, but not quite there yesterday. So that leaves us in limbo a little bit. You know, yes, Bosco, how are we doing, mate? Yo to you. Great to see you. That leaves us in limbo a little bit. Are we going to come down and test 85K properly, or are we going to go up from here? We know that Bitcoin's still in the range. We're still capped in the range. And yeah, there's nothing really else going on apart from that at the moment. We are just range bound. But yesterday's drop brought some massive volatility, didn't it? Solana got absolutely pummeled yesterday. ETH got pummeled as well. But Solana was down like 8% at one point. It got absolutely hammered. Now, what we got yesterday was quite interesting because we got the creation of a massive CME gap. We go and have a look at the CME gap, which is still open, by the way. The CME gap is still open, but the CME actually opened at 86,565. So if I'll go and mark it on, so the CME is up towards just above $89,000. Let me mark. I don't think I'm right on that. About $89,300. So we still have around about 1.5K ish to go up and close of the CME gap from here. But we got a massive CME gap created. The biggest that I can remember in recent time. Definitely over the past couple of months. I think the biggest CME gap created. Was around 3K. So big CME gap. But yeah, Bitcoin's already. Let me just move that down a little touch. Yeah, there we go. Bitcoin has already started to work on obviously closing that. We closed a lot of it. Now we've had a decent bounce so far. Decent bounce. What I would say is that have we just come and closed the fair value gap and come back in towards supply, or are we actually seeing a potential liquidation event in yesterday and then we go up for the rest of the week? That's the main discussion point. Let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you think that we go up for the rest of the week, or do you think that this is literally just a dead cat bounce before we pummel back to the downside? Now, this week, we do have a major week because we have the Fed interest rate decision on Wednesday. Now, I will be live for that on Wednesday evening, so do make sure you come and join. But at the moment, it's got a 99.2% chance that it's going to be no change. So, the 25 basis point option is less than 1%. So not a lot. Not a lot at all. So we're expecting that the Fed will hold current rates on Wednesday, which is probably only going to anger Trump even more. So we'll definitely probably see some comments directed towards the Fed and Jerome Powell from Trump again coming Wednesday onwards. And it wouldn't surprise me if on a week like this, where the Fed yet again just holds rates instead of cutting more, Trump names obviously his guy that he wants to be the next Fed chair. So that's where we're at in terms of the interest rate decision. It's going to be a massive week, and any move going into the meeting could be just de-risking or a potential trap, depending on which way we're going. Now let's see what else we've got this week. Obviously it's Monday, so let's have a little look into other data. Obviously, the Fed interest rate decision is going to be the major one this week. There's going to be nothing bigger than that. But let's see what else we've got. I think we do have one or two more. I think we've got something on Thursday and Friday, I think. No, just Friday. So on Friday, we got PPI, which is another major release that we get each month. But yeah, this week, Wednesday, and then PPI on Friday, which will be good to watch on stream. That'll be a good one for stream. But yeah. Oh, we got Lou in. Hello, mate. How are we doing? What time is the Fed rate tomorrow, and what time are you streaming tomorrow? On Wednesday it is, mate. Wednesday. So Wednesday, and I'll be live probably from about 6:45 onwards. So the Fed interest rate decision comes out at 7 o'clock. So I'll be live from 6:45, covering the 15 minutes before. Then we'll get the rate reaction. Then we'll wait the half an hour. Half an hour after the rate decision, we get the Jerome Powell press conference and Q&A. So yeah, we'll be all up and involved in that and watching what happens to Bitcoin all throughout that. Yes, Steve-O, how are we doing? I'm all good, mate. How is yourself? How's yourself? I got 12 people in. Great to see you. Make sure you do drop a like on the stream. Make sure you join the Discord as well. That's pinned in the chat. And yeah, thank you for joining. We'll be running through, obviously, exactly what happened yesterday in just a second. But as you can see, basically from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock yesterday, it was just hammer to the downside, wasn't it? It was just non-stop selling. Really big selling aggression to the downside. And then we got consolidation and then ripped back to the upside. But the question is, obviously, now that we've came in and closed the fair value gap, and particularly, come in towards supply there, we basically pinned supply perfectly, didn't we? Is this a dead cat bounce to then continue to the downside, which would actually throw us right into actual daily demand? At the moment, we've bounced basically nowhere. We've bounced in no man's land. So are these longs down here safe or not? I would probably estimate that not safe, personally, but We'll see. But the real tragedy came on altcoins. Oh, got a bit of a shiver then. Yeah, the real tragedy came on altcoins. They got absolutely pummeled, didn't they? I mean, if we look at Sol, from that same time, 2 o'clock onwards, it went down 7.5% in them 5 hours. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, sorry, 6 hours. 6 hours. Beg your pardon. 6 hours. So yeah, Sol got absolutely obliterated. Now, if we look at Sol on the daily, quite key this, because we have now closed back below this SR here. So we're now back below this SR on Sol. So support, 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 turn to resistance all along here going into the new year, then reclaim. And then again, we used it as support, didn't we, last week, all up until Sunday. So, support all along here was holding, and then just bang, one big drive to the downside. Now, what I would say is that Sol came back in towards demand below that. So these are the 3 key levels on Sol. If you look at the price action over the past, 2 to 3 months, these are the key levels on Sol. Here's where we want to be watching. Now, we've bounced at support and where demand has come in. But what we want to watch for is if we do come back up here, can we get back above, which would then throw us back into the range, and then we can look for a rally back towards there? Or are we going to reject from there, head back down, and then potentially from there, that breaks, and then we can start heading towards $100, maybe even double digit for the first time in a while. So that's what we want to be looking at on Sol, but everything's definitely lining up to be an interesting week. And the potential for either a really good bounce or things to get even worse. It all depends on, obviously, what way is Bitcoin going to go. Because, yeah, altcoins are seriously weak against Bitcoin. I mean, if we look at ETH as well, ETH, same thing. There we go. We've had these ranges mapped out, haven't we, for the past couple of weeks? And there's, the test of the range low again on ETH that we've drawn out. So here's the range on ETH. And so far, we've held, obviously, support, 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 support again. So there's your support, there's your demand on ETH. And we've successfully bounced from it again. So it's a case now of, and what you actually can see on ETH, if you actually look across, and you'll be able to see this really clearly once I draw it. Here is your kind of mid-range SR. Let me just move that up a little bit. So there's your mid-range SR. If you actually look across all the way to that, you can see all the support and resistance all along this zone here. So you got support coming in here, resistance, support again there, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance. So there is kind of like your mid-range SR. So like we've got on Sol, where we've got 3 different levels to watch out for. There's the 3 different levels on ETH as well. So you can split these into 2 different ranges on Sol. If we look here on Sol, you've got this range, haven't you? And then you've got this range here. And then if we do the same on ETH, let me get rid of that because we're a million miles away from that at the moment. So, there's your 2 ranges on Sol. And then same thing, if we move over to ETH, there's your 2 ranges on ETH. Bang, bang, and then bang, bang. So, really simple. Price is doing exactly what we've looked at on stream. It's not doing anything special. If you've been watching the streams in recent weeks and you've actually plotted out what I've been plotting out on stream, then everything's made perfect sense. Everything has just been trading exactly how it should be. In the fact that we're not actually really going anywhere. All we're doing now is just testing levels from December and November, aren't we? That is all we're doing. And same for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just wedged in one bigger range. And even on Bitcoin, you could draw out a second bit of SR there if you wanted to. You can see all the price action around here. Resistance, 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 claim, support, 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 resistance, resistance. So, if you wanted to add another level on Bitcoin, there's your 3rd level on Bitcoin for in the middle. So it's nothing major, and it's not like we're doing anything extraordinary with looking at these levels and looking at how Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, and others are trading. It's just as simple as, have you got it on your chart, and are you respecting it on your chart? If you are, then the past couple of weeks, months have actually been quite easy to trade. But yeah, that's how Sol, ETH, and Bitcoin have done. But yeah, I mean, Sunday was a bloody day, wasn't it? It was non-stop selling for 5 hours, 6 hours. And then you look at other things, you look at XRP again, we're looking at on the daily here. Where did XRP bounce? Everything has bounced where it should have. Apart from Bitcoin, Bitcoin front ran it a little bit. But everything else has been all good. We see XRP up 4% today again, just testing levels from December, bang. Support. Okay, test it again, bang, bounce. Hype's interesting. Hype's interesting because if you look at Hype, then we swept the 10th of the 10th wick. Let me just turn Stonksy off for a second so you can see it more clearly. So there's the 10th of the 10th wick. Friday, the 10th of October, that massive liquidation that we got across the market. Hype was yet to fill it in, and then we actually filled it in completely on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as you can see, that's where it's built its demand so far. But what we've got on Hype is this compression. So Hype is getting compressed. If you think of a ball being held underwater, or if you've got something squidgy and you just crush it into your hand, eventually the object will expand again. This is what we got on Hype, because we have now support coming in down here, but you've also got this trend line, which it's been hitting since early November. You can see bang, just hitting that and then sell off, hitting that sell off, hitting that sell off again. January, last week again. But now we're coming into a point where there's not really much room to go for Hype. If you see here, we've got at best kind of another week of trading in this part of Hype before it gets super compressed and then it's forced to do something. And that forced to do something will either obviously be a breakout of the trend line and then start to trend up, or we fall to the downside and start to head down. But it should bring out of everything at the moment, Hype is looking the most compressed, and the thing that is getting just really tightly squozen. We should see a big volatile move coming over the next week or so. If it really compresses into this bit, we could get this over the next couple of days. It doesn't have to compress all the way down into here, but it could do. ZEC bouncing nicely, and again, ZEC, you just pick the daily, don't you? You pick the daily chart and you zoom out and you just draw some lines and you're like, right, okay, well, how easy was that on ZEC? And bang, where did we bounce there again? Let's look at BNB. There we go. So drew this, didn't we, last week on BNB? There's all the scenarios on BNB. On Sunday, we've dropped back through there, and look where we've rejected from today. You see that right there? Look at that upper wick there, rejected from this zone. So again, as easy as that. Look at them. Look at where we rejected from on BNB. Right, exactly where we drew. So it's not been anything. This thing is wild, isn't it? This thing just basically retraced all of its breakout move, just bang, gone, up in smoke. But this is what we're looking like. There's Doge again. Doge is a weird one because obviously you've got support here, and then we got kind of this deviation below, and then support here, and here. So Doge is kind of stuck now of either being in a breakdown region or just testing support and potentially just liquidating again. But everything, pump's holding up pretty well. Pepe, some of these still aren't back to the New Year prices either. If you look at some of these, they're still actually not back to the prices of the start of the year. Pepe's still not there. It's actually still positive for the year. Link. There we go. Back in there on Link, aren't we? We can get rid of that on Link, really. There's your Link range. And again, just so easy. There's your Link range. Can tidy that up a bit. So at the moment, obviously, we broke down and rejecting from the underside at the moment on Link. So, the theory for this back to the upside is easy, isn't it? You just regain $12. You regain $12, and then there is kind of your invalidation on Link. And again, it's just as easy as that. It's just as easy as that. Of course, not financial advice. Don't base, any financial decisions on this. But, there's your support and resistance on Link. Obviously, now we've potentially flipped support to resistance again. But a reclaim of that then gives you, okay, there's some confidence, there's some strength. Really easy. But yeah, you let what did you guys think of the weekend? Did anyone trade that drop? Did anyone long the drop? Let me know in the chat. What did you guys get up to? Yes, how are we doing? Do you know what? RN, what's good, mate? It's great to see you in the chat. We've got US Open coming at us very, very fast in the next 7 minutes. So do make sure you get your vote in if you haven't. And then we'll obviously we'll be cracking on through the rest. If you do want me to cover any specific altcoins or an asset, do let me know. I mean, let's have a look to see what's going on. These two things are crazy, aren't they? I mean, gold has now broke through $5,000. It's just absolutely crazy what's going on. But this thing, I mean, silver is just insane, isn't it? Silver is utterly, utterly insane. I mean, had you bought this back in August, September time, I mean, there you go. It's not major gains, you know. I think us in crypto are kind of conditioned to thinking that, you know, getting a 2.5x on something isn't that good. But, you know, the people that buy silver will buy in bulk and buy a lot of it, won't they? So 2.5x to them is massive. I mean, the silver train, these two are just going completely parabolic, aren't they? It's absolutely mental. What are these doing? So pre-market, MSTR is down at 160. They actually announced another buy, didn't they? Let's pull that up. So MSTR has acquired another 2,932 Bitcoin for 264 million. So they hodl 712,647 Bitcoin. Look at the average price, 76,037. It's rubbish, innit? I mean, let's go. We need to move this up now. I've got the sailor price on here, but it's actually, look at that. So that was a couple of weeks ago. So they've moved their entry up another 1,500. What is it? 76,037. I mean, that's bonkers, isn't it? That is bonkers. I find it crazy. I find it crazy that they've been buying. Do you know that? Obviously, for those that actually don't know, MicroStrategy actually bought its first Bitcoin in the summer of 2020. So we're actually approaching almost 6 years. You know, 5.5 years at the moment, but you know, soon it'll be 6 years of them buying Bitcoin. And their entry is rubbish in it now because they've bought that much of it so high. I mean, they are literally 15% up after almost 6 years of buying. Rubbish, innit? It's absolutely rubbish. Like, on one hand, you say, my God, they've got a lot of Bitcoin. And as long as nothing bad happens to them in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, they're going to be sitting pretty and so happy with themselves. But then on the other hand, it's like, is it a case of you should have just been happy with what you've got? You know, should they have just been happy with, say, 300,000 Bitcoin, 400,000 Bitcoin, and left their entry a lot lower just to make themselves more secure and more safe as a company, rather than just carrying on and loading it? Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that, you know, this was a good tactic, or do you think, you know, maybe over the next year or two it would be a bad tactic? What do you guys think? I mean, me personally, I know Saylor and obviously, you know, the CEO and that have come out and basically said, you know, they've got that USD reserve as long as they're not using it to buy Bitcoin now anyway. They've got enough dividends to pay over whatever and all that stuff. But is it a case of just like, is it a case of greed? Like, is it a case of greed? Like, are they just being too greedy and just completely ruining their entry and ruining, you know, the potential safety? Or is it a case of they're just going to obviously be the smartest people in the room in a couple of years? What does MSTR actually do? It's a software company, but MSTR itself doesn't really make any money, Jeff. like as a company and like actual company services, doesn't really make much money. I mean, let's ask Grok. Let's see. Let's ask. You can give us the exact number. Let's see. So. I don't know if they might not have released the Q4 data yet, the Q4 earnings. So, so Q2 2025 was 10 billion net income, but is that due to the stock raises? Yeah. So this is saying Q3 around 475 million. So it's not like mega money compared to obviously what they're buying with Bitcoin. It's actually a little bit higher than I thought, to be honest. It's actually a little bit higher than I thought. RN says MSTR will be a bank soon. Bitcoin doesn't even make up 5% of their business. Yeah, it's a software company, but I mean, in comparison to obviously how much Bitcoin they're buying, the business doesn't make anywhere near obviously what they're buying. Nick, how are you? Nick, you've got a minute to vote on the poll. In fact, I'm just going to have to end it there. We've got 18 people in, so do make sure you drop a like on the stream. Those of you that have jumped in, please do drop a like. It's an honor to welcome you. Thank you for joining the stream. Please do drop a like and make sure you join the free Discord. It's pinned in the chat. Completely free Discord, Stonksy Discord to join. All you have to do is click the link. You do a little capture verified to prove you're a human, and then you're in. Also, do make sure if you're looking for anywhere to trade, click the links in the description. We've got BLOFIN, WEEX, and Prime XBT in there. So, obviously, if you're wanting non-KYC crypto, you've got BLOFIN and WEEX in there. If you're wanting, obviously, a platform to use crypto and trade stocks, FX, gold, indices, then do make sure you click the Prime link and sign up to that. MSTR is a bit owned by BlackRock, so it's short or risking. Yeah, I mean, I think I suppose it depends on how low it will go, but I think you'd have to see Bitcoin go seriously low, I think, for them to actually cause. You will get the FUD anyway. You know, for instance, let's say by the end of Q1, let's just live in the scenario. Oh, we're open as well. I still don't have the bell. So ding, 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 ding. I need to get my bell back so I can actually do the proper bell opening. But we are open for US markets. So let's go down to the low time frame for this anyway. What was I saying? But yes, what I do think is obviously naturally you will just see the unload of FUD, won't you? You'll just see the unload of FUD soon as Bitcoin potentially hits MSTR's entry, which it's feasible, innit? It's not even that far away. So you will just obviously naturally see like, oh, you know, strategy's in trouble, strategy's now at 0 P&L, strategy potentially in negative P&L if Bitcoin went below 76k now. So you will naturally see that, but I think it'd be fascinating to see how it plays out because, yeah, like I say, you know, as long as they stay afloat, then in a couple of years, you know, they could be on massive amounts of unrealized P&L, couldn't they? I think probably what it is, I think Saylor really wants to get to 1 million Bitcoin. I think that's probably what it is. I think Saylor probably wants to get to the same amount of Bitcoin that Satoshi's got. So that Bitcoin that's in Satoshi's wallet, which is like 1 million Bitcoin or whatever. I think go on, sell your last bag now and be proud you liquidated MSTR. I don't really know what that means. I'll be honest. I don't really know what that means. I haven't said that MSTR will be liquidated. We actually got full transparency on that as to the actual scenario in which MSTR would have to sell Bitcoin. I've not said that they'd have to sell any. The CEO actually cleared that up. Basically, he just said that if Bitcoin went down to a certain point below, obviously, MNAV, which they are not actually they're probably around about 1 MNAV now. I'll pull it up, and stayed there for a couple of years. That's when they'd have to sell some.
the CEO gave a full explanation of it. So I haven't actually said that they'd have to sell any. I think, obviously, the only counter argument to that would be is what do they consider, to be the bottom? Because they'll have that all, mathematically outlined, won't they? As to how low they think it could go, and then kind of their safety net. But let's just say, for instance, you got entire global collapse, economic collapse, and Bitcoin went down to 30k. That's obviously then, a scenario in which maybe the heat would get to them. But I've not said that they would have to sell any. Just looking at their entry, and obviously how much they're buying and how much they're raising their entry up. But in terms of them having to sell any, I've not said that they'd have to sell any, and I've certainly not said that they get liquidated. So don't be so touchy around MSTR. Have we got a sale of? I don't actually think that's RN, is it? Unless you've changed your username. I don't know, but it seems like we've got a big Sailor fanboy in the chat. So it's all right, mate. It's not that deep. It's fine. But yeah, we are open for US market anyway, and we have had the first move to go down a little bit anyway. We've had the first move to go down a little bit. So if we actually look at the S&P, the S&P is rallying. The S&P is up. Obviously, it was up in futures anyway. If we look at where it opened, so it opened here Sunday, 11 o'clock, bang, there's the open. We got a strong drop on that hourly candle. Look at the size of that hourly candle and look at the wick on it. Lol, lemon. Okay, cool. Not really sure what the reference of lemon is, but zesty maybe? You calling me zesty? You calling me zesty? It's all good, mate. It's all good. It's all in good humour. It's all in good humour. But yeah, the S&P got a big drop straight away on futures open, but then has obviously been climbing for the rest of the day, and we have opened obviously up on the day, and we are climbing now straight away on open. So if we actually look at where the S&P is relative to its highs, it's not that far away at all. And as you can see, we are still creating these higher lows on sell-offs, aren't we? So, for the whole of this rally, basically since last March, April, when we got the liquidation and then the climb up, all on this way, we are just, we just keep getting, don't we? Like, gradual higher lows. And what I would say is, when you look at it structurally, the sell-offs plus the bounces are getting smaller. So we're getting some volatility contraction on the S&P for sure. When you look at it, this price action, we was chugging away, wasn't we? So this was just a steep climb up. But then as soon as we started to get pullbacks, they were a lot more deep. So, strong pullback, expansion, strong pullback, expansion back up. But then particularly since December time, so if we highlight this, kind of all in this section here, the pullbacks have been getting smaller, but the bounces have also been getting smaller. So we've kind of got that contraction in volatility, which, as it's positioned to at the moment, looks like the S&P only has one direction, and it will eventually shoot up to there. That's what it looks like at the moment, because the pullbacks aren't able to actually pull back that deep, and they're just getting bought up, which is creating some volatility contraction. But it looks like, especially with where it's pushing up to today, it's going to try and break above 7,000 properly, because we've yet to have that, have we? We haven't touched 7,000 yet. We got to 6,998.1, and it's been in consolidation for a while. You could technically say that it's been in consolidation since the end of October. While we had obviously big pullback and stuff like that, the main consolidation has been here, but particularly in terms of looking at resistance and looking at upside sell pressure. As you can see, we've still hung around this point from the end of October, haven't we? So that's where we're up to on that. But yeah, do make sure you drop a like on the stream if you haven't. Do subscribe. Oh, and yeah, we've had open. MSTR is 160. Coinbase 214. So Coinbase, if we actually see, Coinbase has slowly been making its way towards my level, and we did actually get there today, almost today on open. That's what I've been looking at on Coinbase anyway, and that's an ancient level. I think that level has been in and around there since like September time ish. That is an ancient level. Circle still in its 70s. I'll be honest, I'm interested in Circle. I'm interested in Circle. But Bitcoin's climbing. Bitcoin back above 88k now. Look at it go. Look at it go. Go on, Bitcoin. Look at that. So we got a push down initially, and then we've just ripped to the upside. We're not too far away from pressing that inner SR, that in-range SR, are we? But let me know in the chat. What's everyone? Did anyone long last night? Did anyone get a long in last night? Let me know in the chat. But beautiful open so far, and obviously we can see how well altcoins are loving this. You've got Sol all the way past 124 again. ETH reclaim of 2,900. XRP up 4.6%. Altcoins are loving it. You're not doing any trade on show. No, mate, not on show. No, not on show. What trades are you in, mate? What trades are you in? There was some really good entries last night. Particularly, on Sol, ETH. Probably the best one was Sol. Sol was probably the best one out of them all. I was looking at Sol last night. Out of ETH, Bitcoin and Sol. 117. Really good area. Basically just pinpointed where it went up from last time, so. Gold and silver, crypto, I think, not enjoying it anymore. To be fair, you're probably not alone. You're probably not alone there. You're probably not alone because, particularly on Bitcoin and Sol and ETH, and a lot of the other large caps as well, it's basically been a range traders market, hasn't it? Where silver and gold are kind of just like, you look for places to get long, and now up to now you could have longed anywhere and you would be in profit because they're basically both at all-time highs right now as we're streaming. Silver 110, gold nearly 5,100. It doesn't really matter where you got long, as long as you didn't get stopped out, you would be in profit over the past many months. I mean, just look at that. Basically, this was the last time we had consolidation. So gold consolidated between April and August, didn't it? And then September come and bang, there's the uptrend. So, as long as you didn't get stopped out potentially on this move or this pullback or this one, as long as you just kept longing, you'd be in profit right now, and probably good profit as well. Where Bitcoin and, altcoins, the larger ones anyway, the lower you go down in altcoins, probably a lot of them have just been going lower and lower and lower. But this has just been a range traders market, hasn't it? It's just gone from support to resistance, support to resistance, support to resistance, creating in-range SR, and then obviously we got the deviation and then drop back in. So yeah, I can understand why, mate, because like I say, you long gold and silver, and as long as you don't get stopped out, you just keep winning, don't you? Where we are just in a consolidation and sideways market on Bitcoin, Sol, and ETH. Low margin 100x works better there, I think. Yeah. I mean, I think it's weird, isn't it? It's weird because obviously at some point the gold and silver train will stop, but it's a case of how high do you go. And I don't know how long you've been watching the stream for, but particularly back in the summer, me and Wiz, we were having a good joke on Wiz's channel, and another guy that used to join us on there as well, called Justin. When we used to do them streams on Wiz's channel, I told him about a guy that I saw who spoke to a pretty high up. I can't remember if he was a banker or if he was a hedge fund. If he was the leader of a hedge fund. Anyway, he was talking about how he'd spoke to someone and he told him, wait for $16,000 gold. Now that sounds crazy, doesn't it? 16,000, but if you go back to the summer, gold was 3,300. So, you know, still massive way to go to get towards 16K. I mean, that's just to imagine gold doing another 3x for me is crazy, isn't it? But he was also talking about how silver was going to go to 120, I think he said. And again, you know, back then, silver was, you know, like what, 35, 36, $37. And I mean, look where they are now. It just seems like they're definitely in parabolic, though. You know, this is parabola. If you've ever seen parabola, this is it on these two. It's just a case of how high does it go, right? Because these could literally just keep going like this, couldn't they? They could just keep going like that for the next couple of months. I mean, especially silver. Silver is just outperforming gold so much, isn't it? But yeah, there are two main trades at the moment. Even stocks. You know, if you look at stocks, like these have gone nowhere in months, have they? You know, you look at Nvidia. Nvidia has been in consolidation since basically like July, August time. Apple, deep pullback. You know, look at the pullback on Apple. Meta, deep pullback and then consolidation since November. Microsoft, deep pullback since October. So everything is negative to metals at the moment. Everything. So it's not just crypto related at all. You know, it's not. I think a lot of people like to say, like, joke around and like say, don't they, like how bad crypto has been recently. But it's not just crypto. You know, if you look at the Mag 7 itself, a lot of these haven't moved. They've just been stuck in a range, exactly like Bitcoin is in now. Bitcoin is just stuck in a range, and a lot of these are since, you know, August, September, October. Google being kind of the only one. You know, we've looked at all them, haven't we? We've looked at the previous 6. Google is the only one that kind of went on its parabolic run in that time. But even Google, you know, since late November, so all of December and all of January has been in consolidation as well. Got this little tip over here, but basically the same price as it was on the 25th of November. So everything is in consolidation. And got to remember, it doesn't take much for Bitcoin, does it? It doesn't take much for Bitcoin to get going. You know, remember how excited everyone was when we got these two moves. This one at the start of the year, then pull back, and then this one straight after it. Instantly, the good vibes and the good times returned, and it doesn't take much. You know, all it takes is a couple of days on Bitcoin, and bang, soon enough, everyone is back happy, everyone's back interested, and everyone is back looking bullish. So, yeah, I'm just going to go and get a quick drink. Don't go anywhere. Do make sure you stick around. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. Make sure you hang around as well, and click that link in the description to join the Discord. I'll be back in just a few minutes. And yeah, we'll carry on. Let me know in the chat. Get some comments in. What do you want me to cover? Any specific altcoins? Let me get this down here, actually, because I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart for you guys to watch. So it's a bit more interesting. Where is that? I don't know where that's gone. Hang on. Let me zoom all the way in. Yeah, let me know what you guys want me to look at and cover it when I'm back. See you in a second. Right, I'm back. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we got some big selling absorption there, low time frame, didn't we? And then we've dropped back to the downside. Quiet in the chat, you guys, today. Quiet in the chat. Very quiet. Let's see what the chipster's doing. Let's have a look at the chipster. It's still at 1.6 mil, which is good. Oh, a little shiver then. Yeah, chipster's just been hanging around, and it didn't even really take that much of a downside move yesterday. I mean, obviously you got to remember it's a it's a low cap in it, so the moves will seem bigger than obviously, you know, like Bitcoin and stuff. But even still, on a day where Sol was down almost 8%, the chipster was only down like 11, 12, so not bad at all. Chippy's looking really nice and consolidated, so that's good. But yeah, so let's have a look. What is the market already pricing in for March? So they're actually pricing a no change decision in March already. Interesting. Going into the meeting, I might take a little punt on this going into the meeting. That seems very heavily certain that they're not going to do anything in March. Which is there for a reason. Obviously, the market is pricing in something for a reason, but all it takes is one comment from Powell in that press conference, and 25 basis point decrease could, you know, very quickly flip. I might take a punt on that going in. To you put $100 on it, you get 666 back, almost 666.66. It's a very devilish number, isn't it? But yeah, I think I may have a punt on that. I mean, preferably if it could go down towards 10%, that'd be brilliant. The thing is, it's so far away, isn't it? Like, you're locking money up for almost 2 months. Even I mean, that'd be nice. Yeah, I don't know. I may have a little punt on it. Who knows? But yeah, Bitcoin now retracing back to the downside, unfortunately. So that initial US pump has been somewhat retraced, almost. Not fully, but almost. Did everyone like the thumbnail today? I thought today's thumbnail was absolutely fantastic, if I do say so myself. I thought today's thumbnail was really good. This was a good video. That was a really good video. Also, do remember, if you are watching the channel, do remember that Wiz puts out daily videos over on CSE. So don't forget to come and watch Wiz's videos as well. Wiz getting some really good views on his videos. His copper video was absolutely fantastic. Wiz's latest video on Saturday, did that go out? Or Friday? Friday, I think. You know, that one, 113 views. Wiz beat me on that. So, you know, Wiz is putting out some great content. Don't forget to come and watch Wiz's stuff over on his channel as well. But yeah, make sure you're having a look at the videos as well that are coming out. I'm doing videos every Tuesday and Thursday. But yeah, I mean, I thought today's live thumbnail was great. I thought that was great. That one made me laugh. When I was making that one of Trump there, that proper made me laugh. Yeah, Bitcoin pushing back to the downside, so it's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be a really interesting week. That CME gap actually must have almost shut now. Yeah, so the CME gap wasn't actually too far away from closing. It was like less than a K away from closing. Fever, how we doing, mate? Great to see you. I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you? Copper was my suggestion to him. Thank you very much. Steve-O claiming the clout on Wiz's video. was a really good video, that. Really good. But yeah, I think I mean, if we look at the daily, then let me get rid of that. What I would say is that we've come and cleared out a hell of a lot of liquidity, haven't we? If you actually look at that move there that we got yesterday, we come and cleared out a hell of a lot of liquidity. Basically, we just come and cleared all this out in one go, didn't we? This wick never come close to it there. But if you actually look at that, it just came and cleared out all them build-up of wicks from leading into the new year. That kind of week going into the new year. If you actually look, we hardly got any sweep. You know, we got this low, then that low was a bit higher. 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 So yesterday, it just basically come and cleared all that liquidity out below there. But we still haven't got, you know, a full push into supply, into support and demand, and then seeing the reaction from there. We may not do. You know, that was a big liquidity clearance in itself. Doing well, enjoying Stonksy, cooking up some ideas. We'll just see if I execute on them. Oh, do you want to share? Do you want to share with the class, mate? Do you want to share with the class? Let us know in the chat. What's your ideas? I'd love to hear it, mate. If you want to share. If not, don't worry. You're not being put on the spot. But it would be good to hear what you're cooking up, mate. What are you cooking, Fever? What are you cooking? But yeah, I think overall, it's has it. Oh, bless me. Over the next kind of couple months, we should get some resolution on this range as well. So even though it may be a bit boring, if you're not really a range trader, or you're not really a Bitcoin trader at all, maybe you trade altcoins or whatever, there will obviously come a time when we either get actual breakout or we get breakdown. Anything in between can be just noise. If you are like a spot and chill person, or you go for the max risk reward. So for instance, you know, you're looking to long down here, or you're looking to short up here, or you're looking to long or short the actual breakout or breakdown. Obviously, over the next couple of months, if it takes that long, hopefully next couple of weeks, we actually will get a full breakout on either end of the range, which will lead into expansion. Hopefully it's to the upside, but if it's to the downside, I think probably we have got a one-way magnet now, with this being so close into Sailor's entry. What I would watch out for is the behavior on Bitcoin if we do get a breakdown around that wick, because that will be filling in the initial liquidation wick, which could lead to a big liquidity sweep and then bouncing. But I mean, when you look at that, you do just think Sailor's entry looks like a magnet if we break down. If not, I think obviously we should get a proper. I mean, this wasn't a proper expansion, was it? This was just a liquidation and a trap. Bless you, and don't let the devil undress you. Hey, mate. Hey. Is that a little bit of a innuendo for the fact that you want to undress me, mate? But yeah, have we got any news stories? Let's see on CSE, what have we got? I think that the new light is looking mega. This new light that I've got lights me up beautifully. CZ rules out Binance return as Trump pardon clears the way. So CZ says he won't return to Binance despite Trump's pardon, backing new leadership and predicting a Bitcoin supercycle in 2026. So he's not coming back as the CEO or anything else. Yeah, he predicted a super. Did everyone see this? This was hilarious. What he said. What's that? I think it was on Friday, wasn't it? About holding. Oh, nice. You got nice streamlets. I've got one. I've got an Elgato key light, mate. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Like, that's not even the brightest that it's on at the moment, but you can control it all on your phone. But the light itself is brilliant, and you can either make it like a warm light like it's got at the moment, or can make it cool, and then you can up obviously from cool to warm, and then obviously the brightness of it. But it's just, I mean, instantly on my latest video, you know, you can see if I click on this and gone. If you click on that one and obviously watch that, and then if you just go along and watch any of the others, you can see straight away the difference between the two. Yeah, that Bitmine buys 40,000 ETH. Holdings top 4.24 million ETH. But that video, I know it was uploaded on TMG's profile, was hilarious of him saying, like, you know, he was describing his time in prison, basically saying, like, what did he say, like, you cup your balls and spread your cheeks or something. Let's try and find it. Where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, on time in prison, yeah.
You remember the first day?
Yeah, the first day was pretty brutal. So you go in, they strip search you, you strip naked. You know, show your hands, show your back, the back of your hands, show your ears, open your mouth, show your tongue, lift your balls, flip over, spread your butt cheeks, cough 3 times, you know, that whole thing.
And how did you deal with that emotion?
I'm not usually very emotionally stable. So I just thought, you know, I have 4 months, I just got to get through it. Right? So it won't be fun, but I'll just get through it. So I was like, okay, no, this is just another day.
There we go. Yeah.
The first day?
The first day was pretty brutal.
That was legendary. But he actually did say, in all seriousness, he actually said that he expects a super cycle in 2026.
I'm not sure. You may be. I think I have very strong feelings that you will probably be a super cycle.
Be a super cycle?
2026, yeah.
For Bitcoin?
For Bitcoin.
And what?
2026?
That'd be nice.
Sure.
That would be nice. I think, I don't know about what everyone else thinks, but I think the start of this year is mirroring. Traded his dignity for dollars, mate. I would trade my dignity for dollars as well if he got anywhere near the net worth of him. I mean, you know that anyway, don't you? You know that they're going to strip search you in prison. He's not saying anything that you don't already know. If I said to you, right, you're going into prison and, you know, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get strip searched, aren't you? Like, you just know that's going to happen. But it was just funny how he said it live on TV, like live on CNBC. Neil says, fingers crossed. I mean, the fact that it's coming from CZ is obviously quite big, but I think we're kind of experiencing the same as what we got last Q1, didn't we? When, obviously for different reasons, but as soon as Trump took office, it was great. You know, you had the launch of the Trump coin. Solana went to $300 and everything was looking good. Bitcoin hit an all-time high last January, didn't it? So it's not the exact same conditions, but it may be the same in which basically the later on in the quarter it gets, just the more shit it gets, basically, which we may have to stomach for Q1. And then, mate, it don't matter, does it? It really don't matter. The thing is, if he wanted to be, he could be. You know, if you think about how much money he's got, he could literally go and hire the world's best PT, you know, the world's best in everything to kind of just tailor a diet, you know, potential TRT or whatever, and just jack himself up if he wanted to. I mean, the guy is pretty strong anyway. Like, not everyone is, like, kind of jacked looking-wise and strong. If you don't remember the video he did, where he was basically holding... I can't remember what the thing is actually called, but basically he was holding 2 things on the floor and just kind of put himself into this mad position, just holding himself there. The guy is strong. Like, the guy is actually strong. Not everyone needs to be jacked up and look like the Hulk to actually be strong. Honestly, if you go back on his Twitter, you'll be able to find it. I can't remember when it was. You'd probably be going back ages, to be fair. A good couple of months ago. But he did this position where basically like he held himself up with his arms and like held all his own body weight and just held himself in this mad position for like 30 seconds or something. I am sure you could take him out for his ledger wallet. Well, CZ on Misfits. That'll be amazing. CZ SBF on Misfits. Oh, can you imagine? Need to roll it back to 2022. CZ and SBF in the ring. Come on. Legendary. Oh mate, yeah. Imagine this is what I always think. Obviously for him, he probably holds most of his wealth on Binance, doesn't he? Because he's got nothing to worry about. But it is mad to think, innit, that, you know, like mega rich people in crypto. And I also think this about exchanges as well. It's weird to think with exchanges, obviously it's somewhere in their headquarters or, you know, the people on the board of the exchange and stuff like that. Someone somewhere has to know and keep hold of the private keys to exchange hot wallets and cold wallets, don't they? To allow the exchange to function. You know, the assets and the stables and everything have to be kept somewhere. So it's weird to think, innit? Obviously for rich people like CZ as well, probably have like hardware wallets placed somewhere and the seed phrase is recorded somewhere. But especially for exchanges as well, you know, and I think this is about MicroStrategy as well, you know, with them custodying their own Bitcoin. Somewhere they have to obviously, one, store their hardware wallets, and two, store the seed phrase to them wallets as well. So it's weird, and it's because someone somewhere knows where they are, and someone somewhere knows probably a couple of the words, if not all of the words. So the only thing we need now is for the USA to admit Fort Knox is empty. Well, I actually had a theory on this. Is if you remember last year, just remember when obviously Trump took back office, and there was all the stuff with Doge and obviously looking at, you know, cleaning up the US in terms of overspending and stuff like that. If you remember, Elon suddenly started really hitting it, didn't he, about Fort Knox, because basically someone told him on X that Fort Knox hadn't been audited in like, is it like 40 or 50 years, something like that. And then obviously when he fact checked it and it was right, there was all stuff, wasn't there, of we need to audit Fort Knox, and even Trump said, you know, we need to audit Fort Knox. And Elon was saying, we're going to go into Fort Knox, we're going to live stream it and stuff like that. And then literally just radio silence. There was nothing after that, was there? It just went radio silence, nothing. What's interesting is if you actually go back and look at the gold chart around that time, basically around that time when Elon was going on about Fort Knox potentially being empty or, you know, not having the gold reserves that it does. If you actually go back and look at the gold chart, literally, that's when the gold chart started to climb pretty aggressively going into the summer, and then we got sideways, and then we got continuation. But what's interesting is, who knows potentially the answer? So what I think potentially is, if Fort Knox is empty, or, you know, say it has half or a third of what it's meant to, or it's just completely empty, China and potentially other BRICS companies maybe have gone, oh, hang on, the US actually doesn't have any gold, or there's a good chance that the US has hardly any gold, because it was literally as soon as they started going on about that, that's when the gold chart started to climb. So it'd be interesting to go, well, hang on, like we could literally just blow the US out the water economically if we just suddenly start buying up all the gold. Someone is buying up all the gold because someone is moving it mad, because gold is a huge asset. I mean, gold must be about a $50 trillion asset now, surely, or close to being. So someone is moving a lot of money into gold. You know, this takes a huge amount of money moving in, to move it from 4K to 5K. And then obviously to move it from 3K to 5K or 3.5K to 5K. It's a huge amount of money. So there is, you know, there's hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars flowing into gold from somewhere. So my theory on it is that the BRICS countries, or specifically China and maybe Russia, have turned around and gone, yeah, you know what, maybe Fort Knox is actually empty and the US doesn't have any gold, and then suddenly they start buying up all the gold, and then they've got a massive economic advantage over the US then, particularly when it comes to the dollar as well, because if the dollar carries on weakening, and obviously then they start moving out of trading in the dollar and start moving into the won or their own, their own currencies, or maybe even start trading in gold back tokens potentially, whatever. If say China decides to back, I think China was backing the won with something. Was it gold? I can't remember. But then suddenly the US found itself in a really vulnerable position because they haven't got as much gold as they're meant to, or haven't been boosting the reserves. And then suddenly its competitors have got loads of gold. China could have bought so much gold over the past year, couldn't they? So it's TMG. The silver pump, mate. It's the silver. Oh, look at silver. We're literally, for those of you that are still hanging around, I hope you know that we're literally watching history right now. We are literally watching history with gold being at 5,090. And then particularly silver. Now, literally, that's an all-time high on silver, basically. What we're watching right there, go to the 5-minute chart. We are actually watching all-time highs on silver. So in the future, obviously, whenever it tops out and it's coming back down, when it comes back down towards the $110, $111 level, you can say, I watched that all-time high be printed on stream. So we've been on stream since 2 o'clock here, haven't we? So for the past 20 minutes, silver has been printing all-time highs. So we've actually just been on stream while silver has been printing all-time highs. So yeah, really good. Let me know in the chat, what would you like me to cover? Let me know what you'd like me to cover. What would be the market cap if gold hit 16k? Oof, let's see. Yeah, that's 16k shout. While it sounds mad, and it may never even get up to anywhere close to that, it's up significantly since then. It's easily up over 50% gold since I saw that. And the silver shout was incredible. I mean, silver has gone from about $35 to $111 since this guy said that. Basically, I think it was at the time silver was trading at like $120 physical over the counter in China. So he's basically said like, this gap will be closed. And at the time, you think that's mental, no way. But now it's basically closed. From what it was. Bitcoin will be 10% of that. No. Let's see. So gold at $16,000 would be 111 trillion. Wow. 111 trillion. Do you remember? So what's the current market cap of gold? Do you remember when obviously gold was $10 trillion and the argument was that Bitcoin had to get to 10 trillion to equal gold's market cap? And now suddenly gold is around 35 trillion. So yeah, 35 trillion, and Bitcoin's is just under 2 in it. I think just under 2. Silver, gold, and copper are being bought 5 years in advance, and a select few are buying 10 years in advance. Do you reckon it's being bought that far ahead? Why, Steve? What's your theory, or obviously what you've heard on that? even not half those figures is still massive. Oh yeah, mate, without a doubt. I mean, if you think about it, Bitcoin needs to do a 5x just to get to 10 trillion. So Bitcoin needs to go to like over 400k to get to 10 trillion. And then say gold stays the same, then it would still be less than a third of gold's market cap. All because of battery and solar. Do you not reckon it's pricing something in though? Do you not reckon it's pricing something in potentially? Because are they not pricing in economic unrest like what happened in 2008? Do you think? Because obviously the same happened then, didn't it? Where you just get gold on a parabolic rally, and then you get kind of the bubble go pop. Here. You had obviously just in the 2000s just parabolic rally. It actually carried on rallying through 2008, didn't it? And then obviously just bubble goes pop, and then it retraces and then goes sideways for like 6 years. I don't know, but what I do know is that Stonksy has been long on the monthly since 2K. But I mean, yeah, this was, yeah, what a time. But I mean, Stonksy's long on the hourly since 4.6, about a 10% gain from that. Chippy, new reserve currency of the UK. Bang. Instant 100x. Instant 100x. The advancement of the new battery technology has just doubled in battery life, and the same with output for solar. And what have these got? Gold and silver in them, these new batteries? Is that what it is, Steve-O? These new batteries have got gold and silver in them. What? So is that why you reckon? All to do with renewables. Well, they must have gold and silver in them. If obviously that's the theory. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing anyway. Oh, go on then. Look at that. Yes. So we're back up towards 89k now. So we're coming for that CME gap. We're coming for it. Obviously, this needs to catch up because it's 10 minutes delayed. But we are coming for that CME gap. Yeah, Bitcoin's putting in a good rally here. Really nice from US Open. Obviously started here, up, and then we went for a retrace, and then we've gone up again. Really nice. So yeah, we're on a nice rally on the Bitcoin and crypto side of things now, which is obviously mirroring. I mean, look at the strength on the S&P. Look at that. That's just up. Let's have a look at Sol. That's it. Look at that giant 5-minute candle there. Giant 5-minute candle. ETH. Giant 5-minute candle. Really nice. So I mean, yeah, putting in a nice rally across the board now. So really good open. And obviously that's basically is that full retrace of yesterday's dump. Basically a full retrace of yesterday's dump. Now, what we want to see is obviously these. You got liquidity here, and we got liquidity here. There's your liquidity levels on Bitcoin for looking to the upside now. So we haven't took this one yet. This one got close. We're definitely above there, and above there, there's the liquidity on Bitcoin. So that's what we want to watch out for too. But yeah, I think we'll leave today's stream there. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. Watch out for my video tomorrow as well. I'll of course be back streaming on Wednesday. We will be streaming what's the name of your dog? Mate, it's my mum's dog. It's my mum's dog. Can you hear that? Yeah, she's going wild at something. Yeah, but I don't even know what breed it is, to be honest. Yeah, I'll be live on Wednesday night because we will be looking at the Fed meeting. So we'll be live for the Fed meeting. So make sure save LMAO. Don't say that. What? Yeah, it is. It's my mum's dog. It's not my dog. I don't have any dogs. I've got a temporary setup, haven't I? Because I'm still waiting for my house to be ready to fully get my my setup and little studio that I've got in there. So I'm still at a temporary thing, yo. Those are security questions, mate. I don't have any questions regarding that. Yeah, I know Steve-O's trying to sell me out there, isn't he? Steve-O's trying to sell me out. But yeah, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you tune in, and make sure you keep a lookout for tomorrow's video. Now, on tomorrow's video, when you watch it, please make sure you watch it from start to finish. Really appreciate it because it helps me get better in the algorithm. You know, better retention equals better push on YouTube, and I'm already seeing that on obviously my last two videos. My last two videos are doing much better in terms of retention and in terms of being pushed by the algorithm than previously. So yeah, please do. If you watch tomorrow's video when it comes out, please watch the full length or try and watch at least over half. It will really help me out. Make sure you drop a like on it as well, because yeah, the higher the retention, YouTube thinks it's a better video, and then obviously it will get pushed more in the algorithm. And all I need now is to get that, you know, that switch in the algorithm for the algorithm to notice that the videos are high quality, to then start it, you know, naturally it pushing it more. So yeah, if you do see tomorrow's video, one, make sure you watch it. Please make sure you drop a like, and please do try and make sure, you know, you watch 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. I'm going to try and keep them in and around 6 to 7 minutes because that seems to be the sweet spot in terms of keeping the video interesting and not waffling on, but also keeping a good amount of, you know, quality content in there. But yeah, please do try and watch the full video if you can. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all later. Bye bye.